Hello, everybody. So glad to be here today with you. Here to do another amazing round of podcasting to share with you. Today, no interview. I'm gonna share some wisdom with you to support you on your path to embody being a spiritual rock star and take your spiritual rock star to rock stardom to the next level. And I think the challenge with that and the way I'm going to talk about it is from this place of trusting the present moment and letting it be enough. And can we really trust that? Can we trust being in the moment with our business and letting that be enough and really rock it out with our purpose? Is that possible? I think the idea of it's may not be smart, it might be dumb comes to our minds, right? So we're going to talk about that whole thing and what that's all about today, and to teach you to trust just the moment and how vital that is and how helpful that can be for you to rock it as a spiritual rock star and really shine into your next level. So I'm going to go ahead and just go through a number of aspects of that today, because I think there is that question. We're inundated with, again, information and ideas and concepts of what could make us more successful. So for some of you that are at that level of trying to get your great vision taken off and want to bring that forth into the world, I think what has happened to me previously at times, and me working as a spiritual entrepreneur for, well, I don't know, around 14 plus years. It depends on when you start counting. Because I had a counseling practice, which included some spirituality. It was mostly counseling. And then I got into the spiritual stuff in around 2006, sharing in the world. And I struggled at first, as I've shared many times, deeply. I didn't want to ask for money. I didn't want to have to do that whole thing. But I finally, overcame that, owned my deep gifts of intuition and be able to tune into people and started making money. This is a real short story. And then as I started thriving, I started sharing with others. The Academy for Invincible Healers was born. I was on a mission to allow all healers to be able to tune in the way I was tuning in. And I was able to do that and then help them to make money doing it, which I was able to help people to do that as well. And some people at a high level. So, but I was able to help people shift and to wake up and to be enlightened. It was a side effect of what was happening within those teachings. And as I was doing energy scan healer certifications, which I still offer to this day to a limited number of hand select people, but I was doing, groups of that, and I served, hundreds of people through our trainings, and who knows how many through the certification, quite a few over the years, and it was really successful. So I had achieved all these things, and I was happy, I was content, I was in bliss many times throughout that journey, and it was perfect. And then I just got the call not to do that anymore. And then I was guided down this path where I'm doing this, which I actually shared this theme in the past, Spiritual Rockstar, and talked about it on my online radio show through Blog Talk Radio, and had discontinued it for a while. And then now here we are. So I say all that to say that I've been trusting being in the moment throughout that process most of the time. Okay, there's definitely times when I haven't, and then when that has happened, the head takes over and says, maybe I need to do something more than just trust being in the moment. Maybe I need to figure some stuff out. Maybe to be able to grow my business, maybe there's something I don't know. Maybe there's a strategy. Maybe there's a way to do this that I'm not doing, and maybe I should be working a lot harder and putting in tons of hours to be able to make it. After all the people that do big things always work tons of hours and all this stuff. And I started buying into some of that a little bit, and yet not buying into it at the same time. So it's kind of in the middle ground, and that's what kind of kept me sort of stuck for a while and not growing and expanding. So what's really been dropping in, and it dropped in, well, probably, yeah, I would say this year especially has really been dropping in and allowing my purpose and my what I share in the world to really expand is allowing this to drop in as really just being totally just present in the moment and as much as possible and not giving fuel to concepts and ideas, to really live from that place of deep awareness and enlightenment more fully and deeply. So not to get ensnared by the concepts and then start creating things in the business, a new program, a new offering or something based on a concept that sounds just so good, man, that'll probably sell and all that stuff. But what's really deeply emerging for my soul is I've shared also so deeply for so many years, and yet I was finding that part of my being wanted to do other things that to try to create it, try to make it happen. Because I didn't know that if this simplicity of being was enough, and I didn't know if I could trust it all the way. But I have trusted it a lot, most of the time throughout the years. And that is what has brought me a great sense of satisfaction, bliss, and success. And when I haven't trusted it and gone into the concepts, that's where I've suffered. Not that structure and focus and activity and massive action isn't good, because it can be very, very good, a very good thing. But it's all a matter of how we're approaching it. And it depends on each person. And for those that want to be spiritual rock stars, the opportunity for you is to deepen and be right here, right now, always, right in the present moment. So how can you do that and not get ensnared by the typical concepts and ideas that are going on? Well, how do you even be present in the first place? Let's talk about that first. Like how can you just be in the present moment, or be in the now, as Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle is a great example. He does a lot of things in the world, it seems, right? But he considers himself to be very lazy, very not striving and working hard. So he's just in a moment and he's just following the connected flow. That's what he's doing. And I always use him as the example here on the show, as a singular example, because he's very well known. I may start using more examples over time, but and I have at times, but I like to just keep pointing to one example. Because a lot of times people think, well, you can't possibly just trust the now and make a lot of money and be successful and do big impacts. I mean, you might be a monk and be waking up, and how can you awaken and at the same time bring impact? And I'm here to tell you, for some of you, it's the only way the greater impact's going to happen. Because you are, at some level, a spiritual light leader. You are meant to bring your presence and essence forth from the divine and let it amplify. Whether you're selling widgets to wake people up, or if you're straight up a spiritual teacher or a business coach or a life coach or a healer, or you want to create new good and impact in the environment through the awakeness within you for all, or you want social justice, or you want whatever it is that you're about. And to me, it doesn't matter what you're about in terms of like what I care about in terms of, is it, am I for that sort of thing or not? I actually don't care so much about that. What I care about is people are doing it from an awakened place, and that we've moved through our unconscious material to be able to serve from that deep place in the present moment, allowing ourselves to let go of any concepts, any moment along the way, even our most prized and precious ones. I really believe this. This is really true. And then one day all of a sudden, it's like, I don't think that's true anymore. Oh no, but I better believe it because I've been so committed to it. It's just being willing to let go of all your concepts, all the concepts at any time, even the ones where you feel like this is what I have to do to make money in my business. So let's talk about that. Can you trust the simplicity and what I call the irreducible truth of what you're here to share? Irreducible meaning It's just a sense you just know this is what you're here to do. It's not that part, that area where you're like, I can do this, I'm good at it, but I'm not sure if I should be doing it, but I'm good at it, but back and forth. But it's irreducible. It's like, this just is, this is me. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. When you're connected to that space, the concepts fall away, right? You don't have to argue with that anymore. So it's, can you trust that? Can you trust being in the moment? I want to say being in the moment with that, because when you're constantly being in the moment with who you are, then you're just being who you are, and it works. You will thrive at every level of your life when you're just being who you are. So you have that opportunity. That's the invitation, is to trust that irreducible truth of what you're here to be about. And how do you know what that is? I mean, you do self-inquiry, you meditate, you tune in, you allow yourself to feel into it, ask questions from your spiritual connection. How do you establish these spiritual connections? Most of you know, but if you don't, then you could do things like go to my website to get support with that, meditate and make money at yoursacredpurpose.com. And it's a meditation that'll lead you into that. But really, as you get connected and you just get in that still space of meditation, and if you want to learn how to meditate, there's tons of places online to learn how to do that, beyond what I offer. So, but just allow yourself to just get in that relaxed state, and then to tune in deeply in a meditation, and then you just maintain that throughout the day. So having multiple times to meditate per day is brilliant, or doing whatever you can to stay connected throughout the day, whatever practices that is, whether it's Tai Chi or yoga or all of it, whatever serves you, or mindful breathing, or imagining that you're connected to your higher self and you're just observing whatever's unfolding here, and you're just channeling it. Whatever allows you to feel that connection consistently throughout the day. Knowing, you're going to slip into other energies at moments, perhaps, till maybe you don't, but that may happen. But to stay centered, that's what I'm here to share and to teach you. So you go get the I can't help but to promote, but go get the meditate and make money at yoursacredpurpose.com, and it'll help you with that. And I have more to support you within that when you go to check that out. So what are the questions that come up? Let's talk some more about it. They all seem rather senseless. That's kind of the depth that I bring, is a lot of the questions we normally have start to become kind of senseless to our minds once you start entering into the depth of what I share and the presence that I'm bringing, because it's all that you just get it. Part of you just gets it, and it's like game over for all the questions of the mind. We'll go through them anyway, just in case. So, should you really pay attention to all these webinars with people teaching you how to market your business and sell and make money and blow up your social media, etc.? What do you think the answer is? I mean, it's not yes or no necessarily. It depends. Does it speak to you in the moment? Do you get that feeling? There may be resistance. You may not feel it in the moment. But if you're really present, and if it's really true for you in that moment, you could always trust that. And trust that when you're centered, that what's true, feels true for you right now is true for you. And it's the most liberating thing ever, because now you don't have to question anymore. Who am I to say that? Well, like I said, I built a successful online business, academy, school sort of model. And I thrive doing that financially, multi-six-figure business for many years, a number of years. And not that that's the greatest thing ever, but it's the small minority of people that even achieve this level of success in doing such things. The level of satisfaction and happiness I have in my life, with my life partner and my family and my kids, is very precious to me, very beautiful. I take great care of myself overall. I could always, my mind wants to say I could always do more, but I take good care of myself through the meditation, through eating well, through exercise. And I don't work a whole lot of hours. I don't work endless hours. probably works, you know, if you want a number, it probably 30 some hours a week, most weeks. And there are certain special times when that will expand, and there are special times when it'll reduce or be done because I'm on vacation or something, right? So it varies. So it's not based on a concept, but it's based on what I want for my life. It's exactly like living the ideal life that feels ideal at this time for me and following that. So when people say I've got this special system or this big thing, usually what they might even say you can do this in like 5 minutes a day or whatever. Then you get into it, you start realizing, well, in most cases, no, you're not going to get it done in 5 minutes a day. It takes more than that. You know, you can get something done in 5 minutes a day. That's what they hook you in with, and you find out it's a whole lot more. Or you're told this is going to do all this great stuff for you, and then you always get the but you have to, you know, work 80 hours a week. And then if you're really committed, that's what you have to do. I can tell you that's not really true. It's not really true. How do I know it's not true? Because I've also interviewed, you know, you hear so many people like reel after reel, people say it's all true. No, it's universal. We got books too, like Think and Grow Rich, great book, but I believe in even in there it talks about things like that. And it's, you know, it's not true. What you believe is true becomes true. So you don't have to do that. I will say I've worked more hours earlier on for me, so I'm not maybe the example, but I know some of my mentors and teachers and examples, people you may not know, but well, Mark Allen, in an interview I did earlier, he talks about it. He said his frame of reference is I'm lazy and I'm going to operate in my business as lazy, as a very successful, you know, publishing company is, and he's made himself a millionaire doing that. And made a big difference in a lot of people's lives, helping to publish their books, to circulate great spiritual books. Primarily, I feel I'm pretty sure that's what, you know, what he publishes primarily. So it's doable. It can be done, and there's, you know, more and more examples. And as I keep finding more and more examples where they're coming from the depths of the lights, I'll share them with you. I know some examples where a little bit. You know, I've heard rumors of these people and those people, but these are, you know, I'm just going based on my more direct ones I know better. So, but the models are there, so to speak, you know, it's not the exception. So when you think about it, what is the world we really want to live in? Where we're tense and fighting for it and motivated? That's more like slave nation, like programming that we're given. That we have to be like that because we're more, in a way, really more unconscious like that. We're not really as tapped in and aware then, and we're more easily controlled. So I'm not here to get into conspiracy theories, but we're able to be controlled by that collective monkey mind. You want to say the 4 people on a planet, that's okay, but I don't know if that's true. But there's something to it maybe, but who knows? We don't really know. We just know there's a collective energy that's been created. We get controlled by that, and you're not really in the depth and the trueness of who you are. So do you need all those marketing courses? Well, if you get in the moment that's true, yes, perhaps it's a good idea. And it's good to learn some things, but not to take it too seriously, not to expect that it's going to give you anything more than what it's meant to. Was it a waste of money, the things you've already done? Some of these things, certificates and marketing courses and everything? No, you'll always gain, but you'll have a much better life when you only consume that which you really feel is absolutely true from your center. So do you need motivation? Do you need to get all hepped up? Oh, I'm going to do this. No, you never really need it. No, there's this concept too that maybe it's good to have fear, right? Marketers prey on your fears and stuff and get you motivated, and then it's good for you. And it's good to be fearful sometimes. And fear is there for a reason, and motivation's there for a reason. That's true. It is all there for a reason. But as you deepen in your presence and be in the moment, you find you don't need those things. You just don't need them. Could they still drop in? Yeah, when you're not being fully present. And it's fine. If those things are driving you, it's okay while it's happening. And then it'll all dry up eventually if you're on a awakened path and you're really committed to it. It'll start disappearing and you'll experience a sense of deeper freedom. Wait a minute. Are you just going to sit around and be in the moment? Here's another question that comes up. Is it a spiritual bypass? Are we going to be spiritual bypassing? No, you listen to me. We've got a lot of things to do. Usually there are people that are trying to get you to buy their products or their programs. No, there's lots to do and you're not enough and you're not doing a big enough purpose right away, and forget about all this presence and meditation. Let's just go. Okay, that stuff's good, but that's not the main thing. Let's drive this thing. Even some of my good friends, I feel, come across that way at times. And so is it a spiritual bypass? Say, you know what, I don't feel I'm meant to operate that way. Is that a spiritual bypass? Are you avoiding something in there, right? I don't know. I'm not one to necessarily say definitively, but what do you think? What's your deeper knowing about that? Is that a spiritual bypass? To be present in the moment? Is that a spiritual bypass? How could it be? Here's my take on it. How could it be a spiritual bypass when you're being fully connected in the moment? How could it be a spiritual bypass when you're following what you know to be true for you in every moment? How is it a bypass? If anything, getting all hepped up and riled up and utilizing your fears and your old wounds to drive you and put gasoline on them, to me, would be a spiritual bypass. And that's just me talking, okay? I mean, you can have your own perspective. If you have a perspective from your depth that's different than that, that's great. But there are lower levels of engagement, lower levels of energy. I don't want to make them mean them, but it's all good. But you suffer from it. You do suffer from it. There's a human suffering that's going on with that. So no, it's not a big spiritual bypass, but you have to be honest and integrity with what's really true for you in each moment. Boundaries. Okay, let's talk about boundaries. Do you need to create? This is kind of another topic, but it came up today in a session I did with a client. Well, sort of. So like, do we need to create all these boundaries? Because as spiritually oriented people, sometimes we're very like wanting to give all the time, and we bleed our boundaries because of the love in our hearts and our empathy, and we're all empathic. So do we need to get, no, we need to bring in the steel. No, I start saying no. Sometimes that stuff's helpful. I mean, I do bring that into some of the clearings I do with people for sure. So I can't say it's all bad or wrong or something like that. No. But the truth is, when you're really in your depth again, there's no need for trying to figure out your boundaries and start setting up your boundaries, or because you'll just be in right relationship with life and everyone in your life. I don't know. No, you don't need to be concerned. There's no more concerns about codependency and boundaries if you're actually really connected. You're really being in the moment and trusting what's in the moment rather than the conditioning that's saying something else. That would create the issues with the boundaries. Focus, but don't we need to focus the mind? Just being present, there's no focus. But you can focus your mind through the presence. Do something like I do, Do with the facilitator. It's not me, do it with someone else, but this is a little card here. It has my passions on it. And they change every once in a while. You keep doing the test, but you come up, write out 20 things that you're passionate about in all areas of life. And you see what's more important to you. Say, is this more important to me, or is this item more important to me? You come up with your top 5 passions. This is a process by Janet Bray and Chris Atwood. Thank you so much. I've been certified in a long time ago. And so things like this, you can do things like this too. If you're in business, you can do a 1-page business plan, okay? Don't make it complicated. Just give yourself a 1-page business plan. Take it in as a meditation. Channel what you want to put your focus on. or let it come to you, however it comes to you, then put your focus and undivided attention to it in a sense. It doesn't have to be that strict, but you want to put your attention on it consistently, and it'll happen. In the moment, things will occur to you. And that becomes, so you are focused. You're focused, that you do give yourself a focus. At least that's what I do. I can't speak to the total unplugging of any focus and just being in the moment and with no focus. But usually you'll find that like something will speak to you, even if you're just being totally in the moment, that there's something for you to focus on. And then you might want to write it down, because it helps you to stay oriented in the 3D to focus on that. So like writing down reminders at appointments and things like that. Okay, so let's go to structure. Do you need structure? Do you need to plan everything and build out online funnels and this and that? If it's not your genius, you better not be building out a bunch of funnels on your own. If it's not your genius or your joy to be studying funnels, I wouldn't do it. Or if you do it, only do that what you're called to do, right? Minimal amount. Maybe just get a sense of it. And have someone help you with it if you're even meant to do such things. Totally possible you're not meant to even bother with any of that ever. Do you need a structure? Do you need to make yourself a slave to discipline and a schedule? I don't think so. I think your discipline could be to let everything go and be in the moment. But if you like structure, like I do, you like a certain amount of structure and you enjoy that, it's okay to do. And make sure, it does help ensure you get certain things done that you feel in your spirit that you'd love to see getting accomplished, and to focus that by getting on a schedule and creating some plans from your connection with source can be very helpful to train your focus and to keep the structures and to have structures, organizational structures. If you've got a small or medium size or big size, huge business, you will need structures. The more that there is, there are more structure. The more moving parts. Of course, we know there's structure that will be needed, but it can be simple. It can seem easy, and that's how you want to create those structures. You allow it to become easy. So I could go on and on. There's always more things we could focus on, but I thought it was really important just to help you realize that trusting the present moment is the way to go. I'll give you another example. I do. They come to mind as I'm talking too, like different examples of other people have achieved, maybe reached more people, brought bigger impact, enjoyed more financial wealth and all that good stuff that we love to play with than me. So I think about someone I've been talking with lately, consistent basis, but over a shorter period of time. And he's helped produce some of the household name bands and artists that you would know, musical artists, and produce movies, etc. And it's the time of this recording. It was just the other day, I think just yesterday, we're talking about stuff and looking at stuff that we might be doing together. And he said, he's talking about another thing that came to him. And he says, yeah, I don't know. I just kind of go with what comes to me in the moment. And I was like, see, and then that kind of led me to do this video today, is to talk about that, this way of being that I feel so few people really follow. Very few in the spiritual crowd, and those that are, deeply spiritual, deeply, even people that are channeling and everything like I do, but not really being in the moment consistently. So you can trust being in the moment. It is enough, and you can't get enough reminders. We can be told these things, we can understand in our head, but until you're living it, it's just an idea for now, and it's not something you're actually living. You want to learn how to live it, then that's where you want to just go check out what I have to offer. If you're called to that in the moment, yoursecretpurpose.com, get the free Meditate and Make Money meditation. I'm hearing great feedback on that meditation. It is helping. I have a testimonial for someone recently that I haven't sought out testimonial, so I have one. Well, I did ask her she kept talking about it. So I says, can I have as a testimonial? And she created one. So, but yeah, it's been helping her. She uses it all the time, even multiple times a day sometimes. And she says over the time she's been listening, she's seen an increase in her money, and probably a lot more. Because when people start working with me, they start realizing it's a lot more than about trying to create a business that makes a lot of money and just doing your purpose. But it's about this deepening and this connection and the centeredness. So why don't you check it out at yoursecretpurpose.com. There's also opportunities. I still think I have it there. If you're really feeling connected to talk with me, there's an opportunity to apply to meet with me. And I don't meet with everybody that applies. So if I feel the connection, if I get the signal to do it, then I go ahead and follow through and have a meeting with you. So yeah, I'm just tuning in as we're wrapping up today. It's a beautiful thing, and I just want to say I've vacillated between being kind of more passive and then getting more aggressive, and my energy, and it's trying to find and maintain my center has been something that's taken many years for me to embody more fully. And there's always a deeper depth there, perhaps, but I'm just saying it's not something that just comes natural to us only because of our conditioning. Otherwise, it'd be totally natural. It's completely natural. So trust the natural thing. We're going to get balance with ourselves, and so-called balance. I don't know what that means anymore sometimes, but balance with ourselves and nature and the world and the planet. There's nothing you can do that would support your mission, your purpose in the world better right now than getting centered. With all this sense of concepts of what's going on in the world, being centered is where it's really at. It's not in descending into fear and we're going to fight everything. From my perspective, it's not about let's go to the other dimensions and just surf there and get out of our bodies and stuff like that. That might be a spiritual bypass in a way. If you're not living here, where you are, where your energy and your body resides, you have a body. So the only way you're going to ascend is to descend first fully, and then the ascension can happen. So if you're more committed to deepening your connection and getting centered, being really awake and present in each moment, then keep listening here and feel free to reach out to me. I'm grateful to support you. All right. And so from that space, I'll say, as I always say, you keep on tuning in here at Spiritual Rockstar Show, and we'll keep on rocking it. So you're at Spiritual Rockstar podcast show. All right. Okay. All right. So big love and joy and blessings and health and well-being for all of you during whatever time it is right now. It's probably a lot of people are, locked down, sheltered in. I always want to shuttered in. Open up the window of your being and let the sun shine through you, and enjoy abundant peace and joy today, knowing you're fully free exactly where you are right now, that there's a beautiful path inside of you. It's unfolding. That's always there. It'll never be taken away. And just let that unfold for yourself. Just watch what unfolds for you. Let's let it be so and let it be done. Thank you, God, and so it is. Okay, all right. So that's enough for now. Goodbye, everybody.